obviously a really good win from top to bottom, and this is a team that beat Georgia Tech and beat a ranked Harvard team, and took UMass down to the wire. So you never know what's going to happen in college basketball, but we'll certainly take the win. I was pleased with how well we shared the ball, and we didn't get lulled into a sense of security against the zone. A lot of times when you play a zone, you get tight because you're not attacking it like you can attack a man-to-man. And I thought we really, created our own rhythm and kept attacking, and we're aggressive throughout against the 2-3 zone. And, obviously it led to open shots, which we made. So, good night for us.
You had an 18-point lead at halftime, and you sort of stepped on them a little bit just to sort of – you had it – I mean, just to keep not let up. How'd it feel good?
That felt good, and that's something that we need to get better at, not necessarily – building off an 18-point lead, but we need to get better at coming out of halftime. And it's something that we haven't been great at. It's a little part of the game, and it's, there's such a lull from the intensity, and then you come right back. And so that was good for us to see. I think we can still be better, and there's going to be a game. Most games are going to be tighter than that at the break. But I thought that was good for us, and certainly something we can work on.
The energy defensively. You said you heard a lot of talking. Feet moving,
yeah,
and it translated to great offensive execution.
It did, and that's something we've been we've really been. I think we've struggled with a little bit is when our offense isn't going well, our defense struggles rather than carrying the day. And so tonight, I thought our defense was really good. Whether we were, we went through a couple of stretches where we missed a couple of shots, our defense was still good, and that's what it has to be. Your defense has to be kind of sound and solid. And tonight we were better at that. So it's something we're working on and getting better through experience. Of course, it's hard because the game became, a little bit one-sided pretty early. But those things are important to make sure you continue to play and stay alert on defense, no matter what your offense is doing.
Chris, you suggested in the past that there are parallels between this relatively young team and past relatively young team you had. Can you talk about a parallel or two that is obvious to you? And in past years when you were young, you made good pushes in the second half.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think mostly in the word maturity would be wrong because it's not. I don't think we have immature kids or an immature team, but it's mostly things that can be gained by experience, like how to deal when a team goes on a big run, or when the whistle's not going your way, or when your shot's not falling. And when you're younger, it's just natural to start to doubt yourself or to get down or to not stay positive. I think when you get a little bit older, you've seen those things before. You have a greater understanding of the big picture of the entire game, and it's more easily to snap out of that. And I think that would probably be the one thing that this is a great team to coach, and that's the one thing that really is something that we're trying to make sure we get out of ourselves, that you cannot worry about mistakes. You can't dwell on anything that has happened in the past because the guys are too good and the game's too critical or the possessions are too critical to let it affect another play.
Go ahead, John.
No, thank you.
We have talked about consistency with this team a lot. They're going back on the road where sometimes they look good, sometimes they haven't.
Yeah.
Conference game at St. Bonnie. Your early thoughts about that?
Well, number one, St. Bonaventure is very good and probably has the best player in the league in Andrew Nicholson, or certainly a first-team all-conference player. They're going to have a good crowd. It's going to be a good game. And same thing, I think that's what's important. These next 2 days of practice is not only working on the scouting report and what we're trying to do to attack them, but really working on just ourselves, being better when things don't go our way, which they don't on the road. And, you can't change that unless you start to just really zero in, as the kind of the expression we use, and make sure that you can kind of change it yourself. You can't let anybody else do it, and just be really focused on trying to improve, trying to get better, and bringing good energy.
Do you see the youth come out more on the road in situations like that, where the crowd becomes a factor, where as you mentioned, those droughts,
yeah,
where sometimes it happens? Do you see that more? The youth come out more when you go on the road?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's understandable. They're difficult environments. The players are so good on the floor, and so when things don't go your way and they go your way less on the road, it's just natural to not get down on your teammates, but just doubt a little bit of yourself. And so when those things come, the way to get out of the drought, the way to get out of kind of the negative experience is to just kind of grit your teeth and get through it. And something that we're improving on and we're getting better, but it still shows up for us, and we just need to keep working at it.
Coach, in your experience, do you see that wins like this, scoring 100 points, winning by 40, has a lasting impact in terms of momentum, confidence, anything like that?
Well, it could. I mean, not as much as I would say the Temple game, and then we dropped 2 after that. So you never know what's going to happen. I think it was good. It's good for us because it happened to us probably earlier this year against William and Mary, but that you say, this is the game plan, this is what we want to do, and if we do these things, we'll be fine, and it happens, and it usually doesn't in college basketball. So from that point of view, it's good for us because it's a positive and builds confidence.
Can you talk about the 30 assists and only 6 turnovers against the defense like Fordham?
Yeah, that was great. The 30 assists is an incredible number, and our low turnover number is really, really good because against number one, Fordham steals the ball a lot, and we didn't really allow that to happen. Against a zone, it can be tricky. It can be lulled into a sense of security because you can throw the ball easily around one possession and not so easily the next. So I thought we were really good at staying alert, not giving in to throwing the ball away almost at all. And that number, 30 to 6, of course, you're never going to see that too often.